Hello, welcome to the Gun Gunners podcast. This is Fudboy and I am Connor, or Maxwell, because Fudboy has left the chat. But this is our first episode, and it is going to be on our congressional profiles for American public policy. How would you like to start?
Well, I did my little research on my boy Rand Paul. He's a Kentucky senator. He's been in the game for 11 years. He graduated med school in 1988. He practiced ophthalmology in Bowling Green.
Whatever words.
Yeah. He started the family in 1993. And then in 1995, he founded an eye clinic in southern Kentucky, which was recognized in 2002 by the Twilight Wish Foundation due to his kind of commitment to seniors. And then joined the Senate in 2011. So, up until 2011, he was never like in any other positions. He just he joined. He got into politics when he realized stuff's about to go down. His ideas are mainly freedom, fiscal responsibility, and limited government. He sponsored Bill 3514, which repeals vaccine mandates in the District of Columbia. Bill 3300, which stops taxpayer money from going to illegal immigrants. This is a block for the president's plan to give $450,000 to illegal immigrants through settlement payments, and 3464, which is the National Right to Work Act, which doesn't require workers to join unions or laborers or make workers pay certain unions. He's in the committee one of the committees he's in is on health, labor, education, and pensions, which deals with health organizations like CDC or the FDA to make sure education is good, and to make sure labor laws aren't overbearing or discriminatory, and also has jurisdiction over retirement plans and employee retirement, the Employee Retirement Security Act. I think overall, he's a pretty good guy. It's a bit of a heated topic because he does conflict with Dr. Fauci, which has like a cult following. But
Indeed, it does.
I think it's kind of respectable that he doesn't have any other positions. He wasn't a career politician. He was a doctor and a surgeon. He got into politics when he's like, I don't like how things are going. I'm going to try and change that. And I also like that he's kind of been like a bit of a devil's advocate, if you will. Because most people wouldn't, dare talk down to Dr. Fauci because, again, he's got kind of a cult following. A lot of people see him as kind of this like messiah, but we got to remember that he is still a person and he does things wrong.
Yeah, that's very. Yeah, I've seen in the news a few times, more than once, of the bickering between the two. Yeah, it's kind of funny, but yeah. So now that we've discussed Rand Paul's congressional profile, now we move on to mine, Joe Manchin. As some may know, he is a Democratic senator of the 3rd District of West Virginia, and he has been in office since 2010, starting with disaster relief. For example, in May 2019, him and John Cornyn introduced the Disaster Recovery Funding Act, which is a bill that would direct the Office of Management and Budget to release $16 billion. That's a lot of money. For disaster relief funding within 60 days to 9 states and 2 U.S. territories. That's a lot of land. And Manchin said that West Virginia had been awaiting funding for rebuilding for 3 years since a series of floods in June 2016, and that he was proud to work with Cornyn and a bipartisan solution. the bill that died in committee. And in August of 2019, as Manchin announced $106 million in disaster relief funding for West Virginia, he said that the Trump administration had finally heeded his request by releasing, quote, this desperately needed funding to the people of West Virginia and other areas of the country that are still rebuilding and recovering from horrible natural disasters, end quote. And he promoted funding as helping West Virginia, start quote again, rebuild smarter, stronger, and reduce the potential future catastrophic floodings in this area.
Good thing he was on it early, because
Yeah.
obviously right now in the Appalachian, actually that's another thing that Rand Paul is dealing with is tornadoes running through Kentucky, and
Yeah.
a lot of the southeast is getting like just ravaged by
Yeah.
tornadoes. It's not good.
Yeah, and actually on a trip to Florida recently this winter, there was the first time in a long time I'd seen a direct straight path of tornado destruction, which was fairly scary. I don't want to be the Kentucky people. But anyway, so now moving on to drugs. Drugs are bad.
That's true.
Very true. And in June, going way back to 2011, Manchin joined Senator Chuck Schumer in a seeking crackdown on Bitcoin currency transactions, saying that they facilitated illegal drug trade transactions. Quote, the transactions leave no traditional bank transfer money trail for investors to follow and leave it hard to prove a package recipient knew in advance what was in a shipment. Using an anonymizing network known as Tor, one opinion website said the senators wanted to, quote, disrupt the Silk Road drug website. And in May 2012, in an effort to reduce prescription drug abuse, Manchin successfully proposed an amendment to the Food and Drug Administration reauthorization bill to reclassify drugs as a Schedule 2 controlled substance. That's very bad. And moving on to energy and environment, Manchin sits on the Senate Energy and Natural Resources Committee and supports a comprehensive, all of the above energy approach that includes coal. Very prominent in West Virginia.
Boost that West Virginia economy.
Yes, exactly. Actually, Manchin's first bill in the Senate dealt with what he called EPA's overreach after the EPA vetoed a previously approved permit for the spruce mine in Logan County, West Virginia. He offered the EPA Fair Play Act, which would, quote, clarify and confirm the authority of Environment Protection Agency to deny or restrict the use of defined areas as disposal sites for the discharge of dredged or filled material. Manchin said that the bill would prevent the EPA from, quote, changing its rules on businesses after permits have already been granted, end quote. And that should be all for his political campaigns. Overall, he's very neutral in both the Democratic and Republican world. He has many democratic beliefs, but he also supports some conservative beliefs, which is nice to know. After all, this world is in kind of a teeter-totter
It's
situation.
very polarizing.
Yes, extremely polarizing.
You know, it's been kind of like this, especially on the Democratic Party, where it's like this purity, this kind of display of purity on who can have the furthest left belief.
Right.
You know who can progress the most, who can be the most progressive, which is generally, which I think is kind of alienating to more moderate supporters, because they see a lot of a couple bills that maybe they don't believe in, or wait a minute, even though I support say, even though I support gun rights, that doesn't mean I'm a child murderer.
Right. They're
You know.
if they put that out there, if they support gun rights, they're gonna get attacked.
Yeah,
Probably
exactly.
by
People
the-
get, yeah,
by opposing belief. And would you like to call that wraps for this?
I think so.
All right. That is all for podcast episode 1 of the Gun Matters podcast. I hope to catch you guys soon. As always, I'll see you guys in the flip side. Have a nice day. Sorry if I stole this damn quote.
Have a nice
Sorry, Clash Kid.